Hi, this is Dr. Martina, your sexuality expert and online sex therapist. We long for spicy, but we settle for vanilla. Why do we do it? Well, the short answer to that is because we're being told that spicy sex is bad. This is not something, normal people do, and vanilla sex is good and it's virgin-like and it's a good thing. And that is just not true. That's why it is a dilemma, and that is actually a dilemma that we as a society, and I mean we, the people who love sex, have had this dilemma and for a very, very long time. The dilemma is as old as the oldest profession in this world. Why do we do it? We are tied to it. We are tied to this dilemma. We're being told that it is just not good to experience lustful sex, and if you are being lustful, then you have to be a prostitute, or you have to be a whore, or you have to be a person that is bad of character, which obviously society thinks both of those professions are bad, and that is also not true. And this is something I got pulled into too, because I had to overcome that. I grew up in a society where women who were just having sex for fun were thrown right into that category, but those are the women that I was interested. Because I saw on pictures that I found. My dad had pictures around. He didn't have porn around because that was not existing yet 50 years ago, but I saw the expression on those women's faces, and I'm like, I want to feel like that. I want to be able to have lust like that. I didn't know it was lust, but it just looked good, and I know my body made me feel good, so if I can combine that with the looking good, and then that's what I'm going after. And as I got older, as a child, I was just interested in, and as I got older, and I'm like, oh, I can never act like that, because then people are going to think I am less in character, and people are going to tell me I'm in less in character. They think I'm not going to be good relationship material because I act like a whore, I act like a slut, and it was all negative. And I struggled with that, but there's definitely, I overcame it. So, what can we do to get over that dilemma, that we're not going to settle for vanilla, that we actually can go for the lustful sex? Well, first of all, we have to change the term, because one of the terms that's been floating around there for years is that, that the dilemma is called the Madonna whore complex. So either you're going to have sex like a Madonna, like a virgin, very accepted in the society, attached with love and all of that stuff, or you're going to have sex like a whore, and that, of course, puts you in a whole other category, and that is just not true. So, let's change the term, because the dilemma exists. A lot of people are struggling with it. Maybe the younger generation, not as much as we, meaning my generation, there's a little more freedom, there's a little more information about lustful sex. They're making movies like, the 50 Shades of Grey did a lot for that and made some room for sexual lust to exist and to be acceptable and to be good and not to be labeled as bad. But we really need to get away from the term. So I think I came up with the term of, how about the penguin eagle complex. You compare the sex with a penguin. You say, okay, do I want to have a sex that is flightless, is limited, and keeps me to the ground? Or do I want to have sex and that I can soar with like an eagle, with my creative lust as wind under my wings? That is already exciting to me just by saying it, because that actually will invite you to be one of those people that are going after lust and feel good about it. And then the other thing we have to do is, we have to look at our own judgments. We have to look at our own sexual mental attitude. Like I did. I had to look at it because I was judging. I was judging women who were freely having sex, and the ones who were getting paid for it, they could definitely not enjoy it, which is also not true. Of course, there's a certain percentage who are being, there's sex trafficking going on, and there's a lot of other bad things going on with sexual freedom and sexual lust. But most of them, when I did my dissertation, I had to do a survey, and I surveyed 1,200 sex workers, and one of the questions I asked was, can you say that you love what you do? And 83.7% said yes, they can. So that really helped me with my own judgment, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have to remain a product of this society and believe in lustless sex. I can actually go for the lust, and I can work on that, and I can feel good about, showing my lust when I have sex, throwing my body around, throwing my head around, and not having to be in love in order to experience that, and not feeling bad about it. So if we change the term about the dilemma that we're all in, and if we change our own perspective to how we feel about how our sexual mental attitude, is it really sex positive, we can change it for us. We can change it. You can change it for you. You can work on this, and if you need any help, then I will be more than glad to help you to get away from the vanilla sex and feel good about some spiciness that you can come up with your creative mind. So give me a call, and I'll talk to you next week.